Hey y'all, what's going on? This is Jesse Both from the 19th hole, and I'm here to do the rookie guide here for the upcoming Silver City tournament. This tournament will take place on the Milano course, and in this video we're going to talk about those holes 1 through 9. And this will be for the first tee rookie division again, and we'll talk about the club selection, ball selection, and different possible ways to play these holes, and definitely elevation changes that you will see as well during this tournament. And hopefully through this video you can just kind of get a good grasp on the course, and you know, you never know, maybe learn a thing or two that you did not know, although this is going to be mainly more of a review, I would say, because this is a course that we've had and that we have used in previous tournaments. So just one moment, we'll be back and we'll start the guide, holes 1 through 9. Alright, so first off, we're starting out with hole number 1, and this is a par 4. For the first tee, the main way that you know, most people are going to be playing this hole are going to be with the extra mile club. As far as their ball goes, and you know, you could get away with using a Marlin. You know, I always like to at least go to a power 1 ball for tournaments, and so I would probably recommend a Quasar ball. But a Marlin would definitely work fine as well. Your landing zone is going to be right here on the fairway, and your main goal here is just to jump your shot over this rough edge and bunker to the right side, and really just land your shot right about there, and try to, you know, get your ball in a resting spot up into that zone right there. For the drive, you know, it's just plus 10% for the elevation change. As far as your second shot goes, this is where, you know, you have to decide, do you want to use your Thorn or do you want to use your Hornet? Both those short irons will work. For the second shot, it will also be plus 10%. And you have two options here for this second shot. The first option is to kind of bounce your shot off the fairway. The second option is to try to go off the rough right there. And try to go for some sort of a rough bump shot, which is definitely a possible shot. And if I remember correctly, there seems to be somewhat of a small funnel there. That shot will require topspin. So if you're going to play the funnel shot off the rough, then I would look more towards the Hornet club. And you know, if you want to go off the fairway, then I would suggest the Thorn for that shot. Now, there is one other way to play this hole, and that's to the right side. If you do want to play the shot to the right side, you do need a considerable amount of topspin if you do want to make this a viable shot to get to the green. And I would suggest at least probably 6 bars of topspin to even think about playing this shot to the green. Now, you can always play the shot to the right and just aim for these bunkers here. And you can get to the bunker quite easily. But in order to make that shot over the bunker, you will need at least 6 bars of topspin. Your ball will bounce on this fairway, and then the goal is to go over the bunker, hit the rough, and then roll out to either the fairway or even the green. In some cases, I believe in a friendlies, I have almost aced this hole playing it that way. So those would be your options for hole number 1. If you are playing that shot to the right side, then you may want to consider, you know, bumping up your ball a little bit. But if you have a club with 6 bars of topspin and you can reach that shot there, then you may be able to make it anyway. One thing to think about is possibly a big topper. If you don't have any other drivers with at least 6 bars of topspin, the big topper may be able to play that shot if you are willing to increase your ball usage on this hole. And that's something to think about, because I think an eagle on this hole definitely would set the tone quite well for your round, and give you a really good chance at, you know, just having that really nice score if you could kind of get yourself into that pattern of figuring out that eagle for this hole. So that's hole number 1. And let's see, we're moving on to hole number 2 is next. And we come to our first par 3 of the day. To me, in the rookie, you know, the best option is going to be the rough bump. right up here, and you can do that with either the Viper. If you have a sniper, though, that's the club that I definitely would recommend for this rough bump. You're going to hit in the middle of the rough, and then roll your ball out. If you have the sniper and the ball guide, you're just going to take that ball guide straight to the hole. And I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of at least four backspin, but you could go anywhere from probably 4 to 6 backspin on that shot. For the elevation here, I like a plus 30% downhill for this elevation. The other possible way you can play this shot is with a long iron, where you bounce it off this first fairway. Your second bounce will be on the next fairway, and then your third bounce will be on the rough. Then you'll get kind of like the same type of a rollout towards the hole. It's not going to be as high percentage of an ace chance as the rough bump would be, but it's still definitely going to be an option for those of you that are not comfortable with the rough bump. And I definitely think that it'll put you in definitely birdie territory for sure. But you will play that shot with right spin and actually a little bit of top spin to get that shot to roll out there as you want it to roll out there off that third bounce. So that's hole number 2. Ball wise, you don't really need much side spin on this shot in the rookie. So I would say probably Navigator ball would be fine here. If you wanted to go to a Power Zero, Marlin ball would be fine as well. Hole number 3 is next. And we've got our first par 5 here. Let's see. So for this hole here, I definitely would recommend going with at least Quasar ball. But you could also go Katana or Titan. I think Titan may be pushing it a little bit unless you have the clubs to go to the right side. But the main way to play this hole is going to be to the left side off this first tee. Your tee shot's going to land somewhere in this zone right here, and then you're just trying to roll your shot up the fairway, and your ball could rest anywhere in this zone right here, depending on your drive and how much overpower you want to use on this hole. I would definitely recommend going for more of an accurate drive here. So less overpower allows for more accuracy, because you don't want to get stuck in that rough right there. For sure, you definitely don't want to go into this bunker to the left. So you definitely want to concentrate on the perfect hit for this shot. Plus 10% for your elevation change off the tee box. For your second shot, you're looking at also a plus 10% for your elevation change. And I would say, the Viper would definitely be a great wood to use, but if you don't feel like you're going to be able to get your driver very far up the fairway, then you may want to just be very safe and pack your big dog, because you don't want to miss out on your eagle here for sure. Now, if you can get the ball far enough up the fairway and you do have a sniper, the sniper would also be a great way to play these holes. You do want to keep in mind that these trees are right here. So, you need to make sure to go to the right side of them or to the left side of them on your shot towards this green. So just keep that in mind as well. But then from there, you just want to try to adjust your shot as best as you can to roll that shot out to the green. In past, they had made changes to that fairway leading into the green. So it's not very consistent as far as the bounce goes. There's somewhat of a slope in little areas of it to not give you a very consistent bounce on that second shot. So it's hard to get that perfect rollout to the pin. I definitely would say make sure that you are correct on your wind adjustments for your second shot, and to be very mindful of your min, mid, max numbers so that you do adjust your shot properly. If you are farther back in the fairway on your drive, then you definitely want to make sure that you do keep your eye out for this rough line, and you do get your ball all the way through and land it in the fairway. If you want to play it to the right side here on this hole, and that's if you have, you know, better clubs and you're willing to use a little bit better balls. You also will need a decent wind. The shot to the right hand side will be played as this. You'll be landing your shot in this zone right here with top spin and left spin, and just trying to get your shot to either roll out, hit the rough and roll out, or hit the fairway and roll out. But you're trying to get your shot up to that next extended fairway. From there, that leaves you a short iron shot to the hole. And if you get to there, that's probably the best chance at the albatross on this hole, is if you can get that far up. But for the most part, I believe the large majority of people are going to be playing their shot to the left side here, and trying for that shot with either the Viper or the Sniper from the left side. So that was hole number 3. Let's see for hole number 4 here. We have another par 3. From the rookie standpoint, I think this is pretty simple, the way you're going to play this hole. I say it's plus 10% off the tee box. And you're either going to be playing your long iron off this pad right here, or, let's see, you'll probably be playing possibly your wood club, or a Goliath off this rough bump here. So those are going to be your two options. If you do decide to play your shot off the island, then you're going to be playing that shot with somewhere between 3 to 5 bars of backspin. And that backspin amount will definitely depend on the type of wind that you have. So if you have more of a side or headwind, then you will be using the lesser amount of backspin. But if you have a tailwind, you'll be going with more backspin. From my experiences on this hole, it's usually like 4 to 5 bars of backspin when you have a tailwind. So, you know, that's definitely a possibility. I like the rough bump here on this hole, and I want to say that it is the Goliath, but it may very well be your wood club, which would be your Viper or your Sniper. The best time to play the rough bump is when you have side winds. You know, that way you'll be adjusting up and down this rough line, which makes it a lot safer to play that shot in that situation. If you have headwinds or tailwinds like we most likely will have, then that makes you start having to adjust your shots back down into the bunkers, and then you have to start worrying about elevation changes on your wind adjustment, moving your target up and stuff like that after your adjustment. So it's just much easier if you can move your shot up and down the rough line as opposed to in the bunker. And for that reason, I think for that reason you see most people playing the shot off the island on this hole as well. So kind of, you know, just kind of have that in the back of your mind. The rough bump is possible here. It would either be the long iron or the wood, and that also may depend on what ball you have in as well. You don't need a whole ton of side spin on this hole, so, you know, I would definitely say probably Marlin or Navigator would be fine for this hole if you're trying to decide what ball you want to use. There's really no reason to overspend on this hole as far as, you know, higher level balls, but you know, it is what it is. If you got the balls and you want to use them, go ahead and use them. All right, next up we got hole number 5, and this is par 4. Few different ways to play this hole for sure. As far as the club goes, you know, you could use the extra mile, but you could also use the quarterback here on this hole. The two options you have to play are the right side and the left side, and all of the shots from the tee box are going to be plus 10%. So just know plus 10% for the elevation off the tee box. Now, if you want to play it to the right side, you could probably use your quarterback here, and you'd be bouncing off this first fairway over the rough. You may hit the rough and roll out. You may hit the fairway, but you do want to end your shot up to that spot right there. So you'll be using probably about 3 to 5 bars of topspin, 3 to 4 bars of topspin to get to that position. And you know, you probably want to use, you may want to use at least a Titan ball for that shot, especially if you're going to use a quarterback. But you could probably play it with a quasar as well and be okay. The other option is to play to the left side, and you're going to be using the same type of situation. I would probably say at least a power 2 ball, but you're going to be laying your shot up in here with top spin and right spin, trying to get your shot into that zone right there. Now from each of those sides, you're going to play a plus 20% for your second shot, and you're going to be having short irons into the pin from those positions. Do keep in mind that these trees can be in the way. There are some gaps in those trees, but if you're in the wrong spot on that fairway to the left, they can be in the way. So definitely keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out how you want to play the shot. The best way to play the second shot, in my opinion, is just going straight at the hole. I like to use the thorn, and playing that shot with the backspin is usually the best way to play that hole. As far as going up the middle, from this first tee, if you have a higher level extra mile, you can definitely bounce your shot off this fairway. If you don't have a higher level extra mile, you may be forced to use a higher level power ball in order to get yourself to that position. You could also consider going with a big topper off that first island, but I don't know that you'd be able to reach the fairway with the big topper. You'd probably just end up more towards that rough area right there. But if you do have a little bit better driver with more topspin, you can play the shot to this second fairway area, and with right spin and not a whole lot of topspin, maybe not even any topspin, you would play that shot up here, bounce off the rough, and then roll out onto the fairway, and that leaves you a nice little wedge chip into the hole. And that's going to be 100% the best way to get the eagle on this hole, is if you have the club and the ball to make that shot right there. The second shot here, if you're up here, it would just be a plus 10%. It is somewhat of a downhill chip to the hole, so definitely play a plus 10% on that wedge chip. So just remember that. And hole number 6 is next. This is a par 5. And, there are also a couple ways to play this hole as well. As far as your tee shot is concerned, I would just play 10% for your tee shot across the board. Now you have the option either to go to the right side or to the left side. And your end spot's there, and to the left side. Trying to get up to that position right there. We're going to first talk about the shot to the left side. And to play that shot right here, you want to use at least 5 bars of topspin at minimum. And you're also going to use a right spin, as much right spin as you want to use. That really depends on how much curl you're going to use. I would suggest using the right spin and not using curl unless you have a right to left wind. Then you would want to use curl. But if you have a left to right wind, then you're just going to let the wind do its job, and also the side spin do its job. So for the second shot from the left side, it will be either your Viper or your Sniper, and you'll be laying it into that zone right there, plus 10% for the second shot. And it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 0 to about 1 bar of backspin for the rough bump. So it's definitely a really good opportunity to get the albatross playing that rough bump right there. So 0 to 1 bar of backspin for that shot. If you're playing the shot to the right side, you definitely want to bring a club with some curl, because you're going to have to use the curl off the tee box to get the ball up that right side. And, so possibly a katana ball for that shot to the right side would be the best way to go. And for your second shot, you're going to be doing somewhat similar to the left side. You're going to be looking at a Viper or a Sniper for the rough bump here. You could also skip your shot off this fairway right here if you don't have the club distance. But then you will use the same strategy. You will want to skip your shot off that fairway and that second bounce hit the rough and then roll on the green towards the hole. The other option would be playing to the middle. And to play to the middle, you got to have a lot of topspin, at least 6 bars of topspin. So in the rookie division, unless you have higher level clubs, you're going to be looking at a big topper shot. And same strategy. You're going to bounce it over, hit the rough, and then your shot's going to roll out onto the fairway. That's the way you're going to play the big topper shot on this hole. As far as the power numbers goes, you're probably going to have to overpower that big topper shot somewhat. And we all know what the accuracy is like with the big topper. So unless you're willing to use, a little bit higher level of a power ball, definitely be prepared to have to overpower that big topper shot if you want to play it that way. In my opinion, though, playing up the middle gives you the best chance for the albatross chance, and you're going to be playing it pretty much the same way as you played the other ones, with 0 to 1 bar of backspin, plus 10% as well. And your shot's just going, it's more of a straight on shot at the hole and the rough bump. And being that it's a straight on shot and not angled, that right there is what gives you the better chance percentage wise at the albatross, as opposed to playing it from the left side or from the right side. Those two ways still offer you a decent chance at it, but just not the best chance at it, in my opinion. Alright, moving on to hole number 7. And here we have a par 3. And this one right here from the rookie tees, I really believe the rough bump is going to be the way to go here on this hole. And it's pretty much right up the middle. Oops, let's see here, I accidentally hit something. Right up the middle. Landing it right there. That's going to be your absolute best play on this hole, is the rough bump right there. Plus 10% for your elevation off this shot. And you're going to be using somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 to 4, possibly 5 bars of backspin. More than likely in the rookie, it'll be more towards that higher number, because we will most likely have a tailwind. But if you have a side wind, it'll be more towards the middle, like 3 to 4. With a headwind, which I doubt we're going to get in the rookie, it would be more like 2 to 3. But I would guess we're going to be using somewhere between 4 to 5 backspin on that shot for this hole. Ball-wise, I would say bring the Navigator or the Marlin ball. I would probably go with the Navigator ball just to try to cut down that wind just a little bit, tiny extra. But, you could probably get away with the Marlin ball as well. As far as the club to use, it may depend on what long iron that you want to bring. If you're going to bring the Goliath, you're probably okay with any of those balls. If you're going to bring the backbone, then you may possibly need that extra power ball to get that shot to the rough bump situation. So definitely keep that in mind. It could be possible to be in between clubs right there on that shot. Alright, let's see, what else? You can play the shot to the left or to the right. They're not methods that I have ever played or suggested, but they are definitely options. I just feel like the rough bump is the absolute best way to play the shot. But if you do want to play the shot to the left or the right, you will be playing those dependent on the wind. So if you have left to right wind, you play the left side shot. If you have right to left wind, you play the right side shot. And all those shots will be played pretty much the same, using lots of backspin, and you'll be using a little bit of curl on those shots as well. But you're mostly going to use the backspin and the right spin to kind of direct that shot towards the hole. Alright, hole number 8 is next, par 4. And this one right here, I'm going to guess we're going to get a pretty nice tailwind here for the rookies here on this hole, and which will make it very easy as far as deciding which way to play this hole. Extra mile is a great club to use on this hole. You'll be landing your shot right in here, plus 10% for the drive. And you'll be taking your shot basically just like this right here, landing it, bouncing over the bunker and the rough. You may hit the rough and roll out onto the fairway, but your goal is to hit the fairway and then roll up the fairway to the end. Now, the best way to play this hole is use about 4 to 5 bars of topspin and max left spin on the drive. You can use too much topspin though on this shot and go through the fairway to the rough, which it doesn't completely kill your hole, but it definitely hurts your chances at the eagle on this short par 4. So as far as your ball goes, the katana ball is a really good ball to use on this hole, just because of that little extra power, and that side spin is definitely what makes this hole really good for using the katana ball. For your second shot, you're going to be playing 0%. You're going to be within wedge or short iron range for this second shot, and you can either go with a backspin shot with the thorn, you can go with the hornet, or a thorn shot with just a couple bars of backspin and play that shot to the front edge of the hole. You do have a few options on how you want to play this shot. I prefer to go with about 2-3 bars of backspin and play your shot towards the green that way. That's the way I prefer, and but you have to decide how you want to play it as well, and what style best suits your game. The other option on this hole is to play it to the right side. This would be more of a safer route, to put your draw ball right up there, and then with your second shot would be a wood club toward the green, so either your Viper or your Sniper, and that's more of a situation with like a strong headwind or a very strong side-ish headwind, but more than likely we're not going to see that in the rookie, and that's more of a probably expert masters level type of play right there anyway. So plus 10% on the drive, 0% on the second shot. Alright, so our last and final hole here, hole number 9. It's a par 5. This is definitely a hole where you want to bring a Titan ball for the rookie, and for your second club you need a big dog, and I also go with the extra mile here for this drive. Basically what you're going to be doing is landing your shot at the top right edge of the fairway with full top spin and side spin to the right. You're going to be bouncing over the rough, the bunker, hopefully landing on the fairway and getting a nice kick out down the fairway. It is possible that you may clip the rough, in which case then your drive just won't go as far down the fairway. For your second shot, for the drive, it's plus 10%. For the second shot and third shot, we're not going to play any kind of elevation change. But for this second shot, hopefully you are far enough down the fairway where with your wood you can take your shot, bounce it here at the front left edge of this fairway and over the rough, and then roll it out to that circled area. In the situation where your drive does not get far enough up the fairway and you don't feel like you can get that extended second shot, then you can also go to the left side. So let's just say you're somewhere in here. You can go to the left side here and try to play your shot up to that spot, in which case that'll leave you a second shot to bounce it off this small little fairway and towards the hole for a possible eagle that way. From the shot on the right hand side, it's going to be most likely your thorn or your hornet. You'll bounce it over to the green. Now, in the situation that you do have a decent wind and a little bit better driver, there may be possibility to go with something like a horizon, possibly with a full topspin, and maybe like a berserker ball. If you can land your shot on your second shot in this area, there is definitely the possibility to, with full topspin and horizon, roll your shot through the rough into this fairway area. And it may not be possible, but it's it's definitely something that could possibly happen. Just depends on the situation. So your second shot would have to be from a little bit farther up that fairway, and you could possibly roll it through for a very nice little wedge chip to the hole, and that would be a much easier eagle attempt. But it's definitely a very special situation, and it would require the perfect wind angles for all your shots. So anyways, that's hole number 9. That's the par 5. That is the Silver City Tournament. If you haven't checked us out on Facebook, definitely encourage you to check us out on Facebook at Golf Clash the 19th Hole, and join our community page. Definitely appreciate y'all being here for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, I definitely encourage you to do so, and also set up the notifications so that you can be notified when I release new videos or go live during tournament week. And hit that thumbs up on the way out. Appreciate it, y'all. Have a good day. God bless. Check out my friend Gio Viviani on his channel Golf Clash Italy. Him and many other streamers stream their content through this channel. All divisions of play. They also do tour play as well. They do the golden shot. So if you're looking for another perspective on the game and just some more content in general, definitely check out this channel. You can also find Gio on his Facebook page using the name you see in the picture. So definitely check him out if you get a chance. Appreciate it. Have a good day.